Hey guys, how's it going today? Well, we've been talking about the early stages of the Cold War, talking about things like the Marshall Plan, talking about containment, talking about the Truman Doctrine, and now we're really getting to the first major physical event of the early Cold War, and that's the Berlin blockade and the Berlin airlift. Um, so Stalin was not feeling particularly happy about how much the United States and other Western countries were influencing Germany and Berlin. Berlin's located pretty far east in eastern Germany, and having this American and Western presence there, Stalin felt like it was a threat to the whole Soviet Union. If we go back to one of the earlier activities in this unit, we looked at this map here. And this is the city of Berlin. So remember, it was split four ways between the French, the British, the Americans, and the Soviets, which are to the east. The dotted line between the Soviets and the Western powers is where the Berlin Wall ultimately gets built in the 60s. But before that, there were a lot of fences and checkpoints and things like that. As a whole, Western Europe was doing really well, and Berlin was as too, at least Western Berlin. It was economically very vibrant at this time. The West, especially the U.S., um, encouraged independent currencies and really wanted to, not independent from the United States, so a common currency for the region. And they really hoped that this would be one of the things to help improve the German economy. So again, keep in mind that Germany, which we'll see on the next page, is a large country and it is divided. Okay, so this is what that division looks like. Okay, so if we look at West Germany, which is the blue part, that is the area shared by France, Britain, and the United States. Now, if you look to the east, that's the USSR, okay? And so you see most of it being controlled by the USSR, but you'll notice there's a little blue dot in there, and that's West Berlin. So that whole zone, that small zone where the blue is and there's a small piece of red next to it, that's the city of Berlin. So there's a West and an East Berlin. Okay, so notice that's very far to the east of Germany as a whole. Okay. Um, and so Stalin didn't want to accept this aid, and he wanted to stop nearby nations from accepting aid as well. Okay, so he thought this was imperialism, that it was the kind of the same thing that Zadanov in the last reading talked about. Okay, that we were going to try and take advantage of these countries. So Stalin created a separate currency for East Berlin from the rest of Germany, and he wanted to create a blockade to stop products coming in and out of West Berlin. Now remember, West Berlin is surrounded entirely by East Germany, which is under communist control. So he wants to block this part of the country, West Berlin, which is under control of Western powers. He wants to block those people from entering or exiting or from trading with the West. Okay, um, so this blockade goes into effect in mid 1948. And the big thing here is that you simply couldn't get in and out. Okay, people in West Berlin were worried about this because they knew that they wouldn't be able to get the things that they were accustomed to, like food and medicine. And this really represents an event to the rest of the world that the threat of communism was real to common people. Um, there's a reading